Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. Before we get into today's video, real quick, there is at the bottom of the screen, there is the scroll, Tenkars-Tavern.games, DTRPG. Drive Through RPG right now is having a pirate game setting special. And personally, I think it's Tiny Pirates. It uses the Tiny D6 system. $1.99. I'm gonna snag it myself. I really do enjoy Tiny D6. So, what is the current news that's going on today? Well, this actually came up last week. Was brought to my attention on Friday, but I was at ShireCon, so I couldn't really respond or even dig into it too deep. Dug into a little bit deeper. We'll look at an article on this. But the creators of Landfall. Yesterday, Unity announced without warning to its user base that they will start charging Unity developers a fee per copy installed of their games. Now, mind you, there is you have to hit a threshold before they start taking that fee. So, we'll get to that. We have used Unity to develop all of our major titles, such as Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, which has been installed tens of millions of times throughout the years. The threshold, I believe, is 200,000 downloads and $200,000 in revenue. To say that the announcement is concerning is an understatement, and we are questioning our continued use of the engine. They are making this change without any form of opt-in or consent from developers and retroactively. Now, this is the part, folks, that there's a lot of things that remind you of the OGL fiasco from this past December, January. This is one of them, right? Oh, we've made this decision. It's gonna apply retroactively. We can just revoke the OGL. Well, we can just start applying this new license terms to programs, games, apps that released years ago, and we can start making money from stuff that somebody already paid a licensing fee to get the Unity engine. So again, retroactively applying the new rule to games developed and released years ago. This goes against their previous statements and is a huge breach of trust. Wow. So again, sounds like WotC. When we started working on tabs and stick flight, we made the decision to use Unity partly because of their flat payment model. Why did you base your game on the D20 system? Well, the OGL looked like it was irrevocable until they decided that they could revoke it. Something that they are now going back on. Again, that's what Wizards of the Coast. Oh, we're going to just take this back. You don't mind. We'll give you something better that makes us more money and gives you less rights. It is like if we increased the price of our games and sent everyone who had played them an invoice for the difference. We would love to stick with the engine we have used to make our games for the last 10 years, but at present, we don't see how we can start any new projects using Unity when there is no way to know what kind of retroactive business model they might throw at us in the future. So, I got a source for this, and it isn't even a gaming source. It is fairly mainstream. The Guardian. Game developers furious as Unity Engine announces new fees. Unity announces a runtime fee, which will charge developers each time a game using the engine is downloaded. Originally launched in 2005. Okay. The company behind the Unity Engine, one of the major game development tools used by independent studios, has announced a controversial new fee. Starting from 1 January, Unity will charge developers each time a game using the engine is downloaded. The charge will begin when sales reach a threshold of $200,000 in revenue over 12 months and 200,000 total installs. Now, is that per publisher? Is that per game? Per title? I don't know. Charges will vary depending on the license the developer has with Unity, but they all have licenses that didn't have these charges, but will be as high as 20 cents an install. The fee has been met with anger and incredulity within the game development community. Unity can just start charging us a tax per install. They can do this unilaterally. They can charge whatever they want. We have to trust their tracking. Well, you have to trust. Well, actually, no. WotC made you was going to make you self-report your earnings. Now, admittedly, WotC's tax started at what 250K. This is starting at 200K. This is applying retroactively. Now, why is this interesting? Well, what else is going to be using the Unity engine? WotC's VTT. And you can be damn well sure that potentially millions of people will be installing that. And you can be damn well sure people behind Unity realize that. So, indie developer Tony Goland responded, "We pay for our pro licenses up front, knowing that any revenue then is ours. That after 2 years of development, they can just add this back-end tax if our game happens to be successful." Nah. By the way, Unity is referring to this as a Unity runtime fee, a reference to the Unity runtime code that executes each game on player devices, and which until now has not been monetized. An install-based fee allows creators to keep the ongoing financial gains from player engagement. They're trying to sell this as if it's to the benefit of the developers, which it's not. But that's how they're going to sell it. The company stated in its blog post. Speaking to the industry news site Game Developer, Unity Creates president Mark Witten said the company was aiming to better balance the value exchange between itself and developers. And it's one thing if you apply this going forward so people can opt in or opt out. When you apply this retroactively to titles that have been on the marketplace, and this isn't part of the company's expected expenses, you just fucked a lot of people. Later in the interview, Winton stated, "We want to make more money so we can continue to invest in the engine." Okay, nothing wrong with wanting to make more money. And again, if this was going to be applied to games that are going to be made, that'll be the new license for a future. No. Why? Likely because the pro license, and I haven't seen it, it's a lifetime license. So now the terms of your license have been changed. Now, several developers pointed out logistical problems with the charge. Will developers be charged each time a player reinstalls the game on a new piece of hardware? How will this affect developers whose game ends up on a subscription service, such as Xbox Game Pass, or charity game collections such as Humble Bundle, where they will suddenly be liable for many thousands of downloads and not getting as much money per title? So that fee can really be a problem. Consultant Rami Ishmael, if you're a Unity developing studio, good luck if you ever piss off your user base. Instead of tanking your Metacritic with a mass review campaign, now they can straight up tank you financially by organizing a mass install campaign. Wow. Now, Unity has cut like 900% of its workforce. No, 900 people in its workforce, not percent. That's about 12% or so of its total workforce this year. And they apparently had a net loss of $193 million. So, for game developers, the ramifications of an ongoing per install charge are profound, and many have taken to social media to ask for more details on how the company will track downloads and protect studios whose games end up in bundles or on subscription services, or adopt new business models such as free-to-play later in their life cycle. Commenting on X, Ishmael stated there is no way Unity talked to a single developer before launching this. Wow. And like I said, when the article was originally written, they had said it was either a threshold of $200,000 in revenue or 200,000 total installs. but it's both. So if you have 200,000 in revenue over 12 months and 200,000 total installs, so yeah, you might be safe if you sell your game for a lot and you don't figure too many people are going to be um, installing it. But how do you account for multiple installs from one person? Sounds shaky to me. I'll leave a link to this article uh, for everybody at home to read this themselves and get caught up on. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Um, Now, just a quick FYI, and I'm trying to get this isn't an official news announcement, but I am hearing that WotC sent Goodman Games a CMD. This was apparently discussed at ReaperCon. I'm trying to get some firm information on this. So at this point, this is just a rumor. But when I get more, if I find out more today, even though I'm going to be out this evening, I'll find a way to make sure this gets up. But until then, it's just a rumor. We already know that WotC didn't renew or canceled the reprint slash 5e classics reimagined line. And people go, oh, they didn't. That line's not canceled. It's not canceled by Goodman. Goodman is still going on that line, putting out stuff that was originally done under the auspices of the Bledsoes, Judges Guild, right? So that stuff is continuing the line, but WotC material, classic TSR material, is not. That's a fact. So, I find out more, I'll definitely share it right away. In the meantime, folks, give me your thoughts on this article, on this news. Do you see the similarities between the OGL fiasco and this fiasco? Right? It all comes down to bean counters and greed. And again, if you did this moving forward, the problem with the OGL is that they wanted to cancel the old OGL to force everybody into the new one. Here, they're just saying, "Oh, we're just gonna rewrite the old rules and just throw this in." Wow. Like your opinions, like your thoughts. Like, subscribe. It all helps. It really does. Again, Tenkar's there's tavern.games/DTRPG. That is the Tavern's affiliate link. It will, portion of your purchase will help support the Tavern. That's how we get new equipment for my co-hosts, keep us on the top shelf, and allows us to buy review materials without having to ask the publisher. I think that that's important as often as we can do that, because then you're beholden to no one but your audience. All right, folks. On that note, be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I will catch you all probably tomorrow, but maybe later. Who knows? God bless. Be good.